Hello, welcome to another Doctor Who related video. Yes, today is very exciting because today I'm talking about the new B&M sets, and I thought the background would be very appropriate because it's figures, and I love my figures because it's my favourite thing to collect, because right behind me is my childhood, so I love them. So I get incredibly excited when new figures are announced. I just become a kid again, and I get the same buzz and excitement I had when I was a kid, so that's great. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to show you obviously the figure sets and do a bit of a breakdown and sort of compare the figures, so you know what figure is used to make this new figure, that kind of thing. So like the Harry Sullivan figure is basically a Fourth Doctor body. We'll get into that later on within the video. So basically that kind of stuff, and I'll do a comparison to the existing figures as well, so you get a clear idea of what's different, what's new within that figure as well. So hopefully it'll give you a better understanding what elements are used to make these B&M figure sets. So yeah, let's get on with it. And obviously I'll show photos of the sets and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get on with the video. So I'm going to start off with the TARDIS sets. Now this year we have got a whole plethora of stuff. We've got, you know, 3 figure packs, we've got 3 Dalek packs, 2 TARDISes. That's all down to last year. Because last year was so incredibly popular with the sets, they've managed to push the boat out even more, and we'll talk about pushing the boat out a little bit later on within the video, because there is a certain figure what none of us expected to see, but it's here. So we've got 2 TARDIS sets, like I said. We've got a Fifth Doctor one and we've got another Fourth Doctor one. So the Fifth Doctor TARDIS, it is obviously based off the Caves of Androzani, and this is the one what I'm probably most excited for, because I have wanted a Fifth Doctor TARDIS for so long. Ever since B&M announced they were doing, you know, the Doctor and TARDIS sets, people were going, where's the Fifth Doctor one? Because, you know, when we had the Fourth Doctor one, we're like going, oh come on guys, we've had a Fourth Doctor one already, can we just please have a Fifth Doctor TARDIS? And here it is, and it is a variant of the Fifth Doctor what we've been after for about 10 years, and I'll do a breakdown on the figure later on and the TARDIS in a minute actually. So I'm incredibly excited about this because I saw a Fifth Doctor TARDIS on eBay, the prototype version, back in like January and February. I was tempted to buy it. It had the lights and sound effects, but I didn't buy it because it was about £550. If it was a little bit cheaper, I probably would have considered it. But I don't have to worry now because it's here. We've got a B&M edition. So let's do a breakdown on the actual figures themselves. So here we have the TARDIS itself. So as you can see, it is based off the sort of First Doctor and Seventh Doctor mould with the higher roof. I guess that the actual Fifth Doctor TARDIS will actually use the First Doctor body, because obviously the McCoy box has the little phone. If I can open it up, there you go, you can see the little phone. So I guess they're going to use the First Doctor TARDIS because the doors open pretty much straight like that. So yeah, one thing to note with the Fifth Doctor TARDIS itself is that the base is going to be a lot thinner. It's still going to have the mechanism to shut the door, so the little button there. And obviously it's going to be weathered up with all the mud and that from the sort of mud blast from the planet of Androzani. Is it Androzani Major or Minor? I think it's Major, isn't it? It's been a while since I've watched Caves of Androzani, but obviously it's going to be in the sort of darker sort of navy blue, a bit more closer to this blue, a bit more of a lighter blue to the First Doctor TARDIS. But I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy to have a Fifth Doctor TARDIS. So the base itself is going to be like a lot thinner, like I said, what will make the actual TARDIS prop seem a little bit more accurate compared to the big chunky base what we have there. So yeah, let's move on to the Fifth Doctor itself. So the Fifth Doctor figure is based off before he regenerates into Colin Baker there. Now this is a variant, like I said, people have been waiting for so long, because this figure was released back in 2009 and we never got a Fifth Doctor regenerated figure until now. So I'm very happy to have that, and as you can see, the sort of Sixth Doctor regenerated figure is more based off the sort of resurrection of the Dalek's Fifth Doctor, but the actual figure in the B&M set is the 13 Doctor's Fifth Doctor, as you can see, but with obviously with the muddy Fifth Doctor paint apps to make him look like he is about to regenerate into Colin Baker. Now the shoes are a lot cleaner on this figure, which is a bit odd, because you think they'd be a bit more weathered like they were in the 13 Doctor set. As you can see, the piping is a lot more sort of orangey yellow on the figure instead of that more vibrant red, but still it's nice to have, even though I would have much preferred just a sort of Fifth Doctor head plopped on that body to make it seem a bit more fitting to go in with those, because you can see the trousers are a lot more paler on the 13th Doctor set, but that's basically what the Fifth Doctor figure is in the Fifth Doctor and TARDIS set. Is basically a repaint of the 13th Doctor's Fifth Doctor. Moving on to the last TARDIS set, which is the Fourth Doctor and TARDIS, based from its appearance in Shada. Now I'm incredibly happy about this because the Fourth Doctor figure I've wanted for so long, and the TARDIS is a really nice addition because obviously it has the police sort of lamp, what was seen throughout all of season 17, I think it first appeared in, which seems very Douglas Adams, kind of taking the sort of police element, and it kind of feels a bit like a joke, that TARDIS, because it's got an actual sort of blue flashing light and it's a police box, so it kind of feels like a bit of a Douglas Adams thing to do, but I rather like it. And the Fourth Doctor figure is obviously a great addition because I've said in the past that that's kind of a figure I really want, and it's kind of the last Fourth Doctor variant figure we need. I know there's some little variations of the Fourth Doctor we need, like season 18 hatted version, but this is kind of the last sort of iconic Fourth Doctor figure we need, and I really like that costume because it's more of a relaxed sort of Fourth Doctor, and I'm a big fan of it. So let's do a breakdown on the actual components of that set. So moving on to the Fourth Doctor and TARDIS set based from Shada, so on to the breakdown of the TARDIS set. As you can see, this is going to be our third Fourth Doctor TARDIS, because this is the original Forbidden Planet release, and then we have the regenerated Fourth Doctor, and then we've got the Third Doctor TARDIS there, just to put it there really, because it's got a black base, what the Shada TARDIS did use. I mean, the TARDIS itself from Shada, it's more of a season 17 TARDIS, so I believe that the blue flashing light, because this Shada TARDIS has a new sculpt on the lamp, because it has the sort of police light, as seen in season 17. I think it first appeared in Nightmare of Eden. I think it was Nightmare of Eden and the Horns of Nymon it appeared in, so it's kind of a season 17 sort of based TARDIS. Now the blue is a little bit lighter to the original Fourth Doctor. This is more sort of a sort of a purpley sort of blue colour, isn't it? But I think that the TARDIS based off Shada is sort of a lighter blue colour there. Again, like I said, it's going to have the new fin base like the Fifth Doctor TARDIS, but it's obviously going to have the black base like the Third Doctor TARDIS there, actually. So yeah, not much to say on the TARDIS. The windows itself are now going to have that sort of yellowy red tinge to it, to match the sort of battered on-screen prop, which is nice to show that we're getting a little bit more variation on the TARDIS, and I think that it's going to be quite a nice quirky addition in the TARDIS collection, because obviously the lamp is going to be like the police light, which is rather nice. It takes the sort of joke of a police box very seriously, so I like that. So let's go on to the Fourth Doctor figure. On to the Fourth Doctor figure now. I'm incredibly happy about this, because I said in my review of the Fourth Doctor and Leela and K9 set back in 2017, why are we not getting a Shada Fourth Doctor figure, because it's kind of the last Fourth Doctor variation. So obviously this costume first appeared in the Stones of Blood, because it was the first time he had that sort of normal shirt. Prior to that he had that sort of shirt what he had in Invasion of Time, and again this costume was seen in Shada, what this figure is based off. So the main element of this figure is the Destiny of the Daleks Fourth Doctor from the Destiny of the Daleks Collector Set, because we have the sort of open shirt collar there, and then we have the sort of swashbuckling boots there to make this figure, and it's repainted in the Shada colour scheme, so the sort of brown jacket, much like the Pyramids of Mars Fourth Doctor, and again it just uses the City of Death Fourth Doctor scarf, what has had the updated paint apps for some reason. I don't think it's entirely accurate, but still it's a very nice variant of the Fourth Doctor. So if you just, you know, plop that on that Fourth Doctor, and you'll have a bit of a tangled mess, but that's essentially what the Shada Fourth Doctor will be. Basically remove that scarf and then put that scarf on it and repaint it to look like the Shada Fourth Doctor, and you'll have the Shada Fourth Doctor figure. So moving on to the figure packs. Now the figure packs are rather exciting because we had quite a few surprises, which I'll talk about the ones what really surprised me in a minute. You know, I think that these figure packs this year have something for everyone. I feel like if you have the figures like me, then there's going to be something within that set what makes you want to buy it. But this year I feel like kind of goes back to what the B&M sets were made for, because it's basically taking hard to get figures and repackaging them so people can get them and become more accessible, like the Tomb of the Cybermen controller from 2017. It kind of goes back to the original principle of the B&M set. So let's go on to the 7th Doctor and Cybermen pack. So this is a really great addition, this set. It's a set, personally, what if I had to miss one of these sets, it would probably be the 7th Doctor and Cyberman one, because it's ever so tiny little differences, but this is a great set for people who missed out on the Silver Nemesis set, because that is a very hard to get set, and it's always great to have a cream version of the 7th Doctor. Again, a very hard to get figure. So, taking a look at the 7th Doctor figure within this set with the Silver Nemesis Cybermen. Now the jacket is different. The jacket in the 7th Doctor set is a lot more lighter. It's more of a creamy colour instead of that sort of greyish cream colour. Now the handkerchief on the actual figure is red instead of that sort of paisley pattern. Now the figure itself is more of a is kind of a repaint of the Toys R Us 7th Doctor. As you can see, the trousers compared to the Remembrance of the Dalek 7th Doctor are a lot more darker on the Toys R Us one. So those are the sort of differences within that figure. So taking a look at the Silver Nemesis Cybermen, the only real difference with the Cybermen is a slight repaint, because character options, it's kind of an impossible task for character options to get the Silver Nemesis Cybermen sort of spot on, because in Silver Nemesis they have the sort of chrome finish on the helmet and the chest units, much like the Product Enterprise sort of Cyber Leader and Cyberman, what they did. But because of the material character options used for the figures, the sort of chrome paint would flake off the PVC, what would make it look a little bit messy. So what they've done is they've kind of dulled down the actual costume, and they've kind of gone for tried to make it more of a silvery colour, try and go sort of max out of a silver colour to give that sort of illusion of that very shiny chrome look. Now I'm a big fan of a Silver Nemesis Cybermen because I just think they look really great as figures. They kind of remind me of sort of medieval knights, so it'd be great to have another couple of Cybermen there to sort of army build. Moving on to the 2 Doctors set. Now the 2 Doctors set, I'm going to be honest, I kind of expected the Perry figure, I expected the Androgam 2nd Doctor, and I expected just a standard re-release of the Wave 1 6th Doctor, what we've had numerous times. But it's so lovely to have a 2 Doctor Sontaran. We've got Commander, we've got Group Marshal Stike, which we'll talk about him in a minute, because he uses the Lynx body and he has a new head sculpt, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, this is a lovely set. This is a lovely surprise, because the 2nd Doctor is different, and obviously Perry is different. You know, so I'll talk about the figures now. But I'm really happy with this set, because I just didn't expect to have a 2 Doctors Sontaran. So I'm very happy with that to complete the classic Sontaran collection. Moving on to the 2 Doctor set. So if we start off with the Perry figure. So the Perry figure is essentially repainted to look like how she appears in the 2 Doctors, with sort of shiny metallic shirt. The shorts are now being repainted to how they were in Vengeance on Varos, much like how they were in the actual episode. And the Perry figure has a bit of a tan, because obviously she's in Spain, so of course she's going to have a bit of a tan. And we've got a bit of a new paint app on the actual head, because she has a headband. So yeah, that's the differences with the Perry figure. All very lovely. Now the arms on the Perry figure do seem a little bit different. You can see the sleeves sort of finish about there, but on the actual figure, you know, it goes, you know, they go all the way down. So here we have the Cosmic Cobra himself, the 2nd Doctor. Now the figure within the 2 Doctor set is as he was when he was an Androgam. So he has the nice sort of red eyebrows. I don't know if he has sort of the silver spot, 'cause I think they had like a bit of a silver spot there or whatever. The base of the figure is essentially a repainted 13th Doctor 2nd Doctor. Now this figure is essentially based off the 2 Doctors anyway. Now the shirt is essentially a lot more of a bluey colour on the new B&M one, as you can see. And obviously that's a little bit wrong, because the 13 Doctors one got it right, because it is that sort of grey blue colour. The handkerchief has now got a different paint app, and the trousers have a different sort of check design, and the boots are a lot more of a lighter brown. So yeah, a bit of an odd figure really, compared to they could have just simply just give him you know, the red eyebrow, well, sort of red orange eyebrows, and bam, that would have been done. Moving on to Field Major Stike. So to make Field Major Stike, they basically used the body for the Lynx figure. So obviously the 2 Doctor Sontarans are well known to be incredibly tall, so Field Major Stike's going to be sort of the standard Sontaran height for the other figures, because obviously that would have cost them a lot more money to do a bit of retooling on the legs and what have you. But the thing what's quite exciting is we've got a new head sculpt. They've actually gone for the effort of giving Stike the correct head sculpt, but they've just not repainted Lynx's head to go there's Field Major Stike. That they've actually gone to the effort of giving us a new head sculpt, which is rather nice, and they've obviously done the paint apps to make him look like Field Major Stike. They've removed the elbow pads on the figure and give it sort of that rose gold metallic sort of design there to give the illusion of the armour. There again they've removed the knee pads and they've updated the control communication paint apps there as well. Moving on to the final triple pack of figures, we have Harry, we have Field Major Steyr, and we have Commander Lynx with their helmets and blasters, which is very exciting. Now this set honestly caught me by surprise because of one figure, and that is Harry Sullivan. Oh yes, Harry. I'm so excited to have a Harry figure. I genuinely didn't expect to have a Harry Sullivan figure, because what I was expecting with this figure set was a standard re-release of the Season 12 Fourth Doctor, and I was expecting a Revenge of a Cyberman, which would be lovely to have because I'd love to have another one of those. And I was expecting a classic Sarah Jane figure. I was expecting an Ark in Space sort of Sarah Jane figure, because if you get the Martha Jones body and sort of, you know, repaint the actual costume, it will look very similar to how she appeared in the Ark in Space. But no, we've got Harry Sullivan and two Sontarans. You know, Harry's based off his appearance in the Sontaran experiment, and I believe Genesis of the Daleks as well. And I'll do a breakdown of the Harry figure in a minute. So yeah, I'm very happy with this set. I will be honest, I did kind of expect them to sort of do an Invasion of Time Sontaran sort of drone figure. That would be lovely, but to be honest, I'm not complaining, because if we had that we wouldn't have Harry, and I'd rather have Harry over another Sontaran. So I'm very glad to have Harry. So those are the three figure packs. So moving on to the Sontaran set, so if we have a look at Lynx, so the only real difference with Lynx is the paint apps on the actual face and hands. As you can see, it's a lot more of a lighter brown colour, which I think's a little bit wrong. I personally think that the original Lynx figure is a lot more accurate in terms of the sort of skin tone there, and obviously the hands again, I think those are the only difference is really, and they've given sort of a lighter armour on the actual head collar, and again the little pads there and the armour pads on the legs. For the Lynx figure, I personally would have given him silver hands to give the illusion of gloves when he first steps out of his little crafts, you know, saying I claim Earth and its satellites for the Sontaran Empire. That little thing, just to make it a little bit more different to the original figure, so people like me who have the original figure have a bit more of an incentive to actually buy it, instead of just going, well, it's another Sontaran, so I can army build it. So yeah, I think that's the only difference, the sort of different paint apps on the head and the hands, and a sort of a lighter sort of silver colour on the armaments there. Moving on to Field Major Steyr now. The only real difference is, again, much like Lynx, is again the armours have changed. We have a lot more of a silver head collar there, silver boots, and again the silver arm pads there. Personally, I was expecting that Sontaran, what Steyr was talking to, you know, with the little spikes on the head collar. I think that would have been rather nice to have had that, actually, just have a little bit of tool. But again, much like Lynx, they've updated the sort of paint apps on the face to make it look a bit more lighter, I think, which I think personally is a little bit more accurate to how Steyr appears, and he does come with his trusty ping pong gun, and the helmet again is now a silver colour instead of black. Now I think personally it is more of a sort of a gunmetal grey colour in the actual episode, but you know, can't really complain. Now moving on to Harry. Now you might be wondering, why have you got a Fourth Doctor figure? Well, the actual base figure for the Harry figure is essentially the Sontaran experiment Fourth Doctor. You can see there we've got the duffel coat there, as seen in the actual episode, and you can see the Fourth Doctor's jacket, what's now been painted blue to give the illusion of Harry's blue jacket. But the actual shirt piece of the actual story goes back to the Destiny of the Dalek City of Death Fourth Doctor. So using those two elements, you have Harry Sullivan. So moving on to the Doctor and Dalek twin packs based off their appearances in Big Finish. Now, I think last month we had the 8th Doctor and Dalek announced from the 8th Doctor Time War, which I never talked about because I wanted to do a video of them all together like this instead of just doing a video on just the 8th Doctor and Dalek. So the 8th Doctor and Dalek, we've got the 8th Doctor in his sort of Doom Coalition Ravenous appearance. Obviously the costume first debuted in Dark Eyes, but the head sculpt is the Night of the Doctor, 8th Doctor, what makes it more close to how he appears on the covers of Doom Coalition and Ravenous. And the Dalek elf is lovely. I love the Dalek. It is essentially based off the in the Garden of Death, the Dalek Prime Interrogator, which, to be honest, looking at the actual Dalek itself, though it is lovely and wonderful, it's more of akin to what a Dalek appears in the War Doctor novel Engines of War, which is a lovely variant of Dalek. So let's do a bit of a breakdown on the actual figures within that set. Doctor and Dalek twin pack. So if we have a look at the Dalek, it's just painted silver and blue to look like the Dalek as it appeared in the sort of Engines of War book, even though it's a Time War 2 story. It's kind of an odd set, the 8th Doctor one, because it's basically a Ravenous Doom Coalition 8th Doctor, but with a Time War Dalek. It's very, very odd, really, because, you know, in the Time War series, he's in the Night of a Doctor costume. So, yeah, so the actual 8th Doctor figure is essentially the 9th Doctor body, repainted to look like how he appears in Dark Eyes and Ravenous, and probably further on in the Big Finish line, but with the Night of the Doctor head sculpt. It's kind of interesting that they didn't go for the Dark Eyes head, because it just seems a bit of a waste that they went through all that effort to actually sculpt this head and not use it, because I think that would be rather nice to have that. But nonetheless, it's still a nice little addition to the Doctor Who figure line. It's great to have the last sort of 8th Doctor costume we need. So yeah, great little addition that. Doctor and Dalek twin packs. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with these, simply because I had completely different expectations for these. I expected them to do for the War Doctor, I expected them to do the Time Strategist Dalek, which I'll put a photo on now. But instead we've got the Dalek from A Thing of Guile, the Scientist Dalek. So the actual Dalek twin pack is based off A Thing of Guile, which is basically the Dalek is a scientist Dalek on this sort of asteroid planet. It's a very good story, actually. I did enjoy that story. But the Dalek isn't meant to be silver, you know, have a silver dome and silver hemispheres. It's actually sort of a blue-purple colour. You can see it on the cover of the actual story itself, but it is this sort of blue-purple colour. So I don't know where they've got the silver from. I guess it's artistic license, but I think since it's a Dalek what appears on the cover, surely that would have been enough reference material for them to go, okay, that's what the Scientist Dalek looks like, which is an awful shame. And the War Doctor figure is essentially your standard War Doctor figure, but with the scarf removed and the gaiter boots sort of repainted to be a bit more accurate. We'll do a little comparison now. So moving on to the War Doctor and Dalek set. So if we have a look at the Dalek is essentially just a repainted progenitor Dalek with silver hemispheres and a silver dome with a sort of a weathered wash over it, which I do kind of like, because I do like weathered Dalek. So the War Doctor figure is essentially the first release of the War Doctor, and this is quite nice for people who never got the War Doctor figure, because he's, you know, quite a hard to get figure. But the only real difference with this figure, if I just take his head off and we remove the scarf, we have the War Doctor figure as he appears in the Doctor and Dalek twin pack, and I believe that the boots are a lot more lighter, a lot more accurate to how it appears in the actual story. So there we go, that's the War Doctor. Personally, I would have liked the sort of red waistcoat, because I don't think Character Options got the waistcoat entirely accurate with the actual release, because I believe the waistcoat is kind of a bronzy red colour. Now moving on to the last set for the Doctor and Dalek twin packs, we have the 7th Doctor and a Gallifrey Dalek, the Axis Assault Dalek, I believe it's classed as. I haven't listened to the Gallifrey audios featuring the Daleks yet, so I can't really comment, but it is on the cover. I'll put a photo on the screen now. But the thing what redeems this set for me is the 7th Doctor figure. It is based off the TV movie 7th Doctor. Now personally, what I was expecting with this set was either a standard sort of brown jacketed 7th Doctor with possibly a, you know, the solemn head with hat. That would be lovely, as he appeared in the Genocide Machine. But the 7th Doctor on this cover is more akin to how he appears in the Daleks Among Us, the sort of TV movie costume. and I was sort of expecting either a sort of genocide machine Dalek, which would basically be special weapons Dalek in the Renegade of the Dalek's colour scheme, sort of a grey and black special weapons Dalek, which would be really lovely to have, or I was expecting a sort of an updated Imperial Dalek, or sort of a Supreme Dalek with a 60s eye stalk to match the Daleks Among Us cover, but instead we've got a Gallifrey Dalek. I mean, it's nice. It kind of reminds me of the Imperial Guard Dalek, what came with the Ninth Doctor and the Doctor and Dalek twin packs for Toys R Us. But yeah, I think out of the Doctor and Dalek twin packs, I would say the 8th Doctor is probably my favourite, then the 7th Doctor, and then the War Doctor. So let's do a bit of a breakdown on that set. So moving on to the 7th Doctor now, it's obviously based off his TV movie appearance, which is very nice because I never expected to have a TV movie 7th Doctor, so I'm very happy with that. So I believe that the head sculpt is exactly the same, but they've updated the paint apps to give the figure more of a sort of a greyish wash over it, to tell that he's a bit more of an older 7th Doctor, which is a rather nice touch. Now the costume's been a bit more simplified to give, to make it look more like the TV movie costume, because obviously he didn't have the scarf and the handkerchief within the TV movie, so they've basically done a bit of artistic license and given him a red scarf and red handkerchief, and they've just repainted the jumper to give the illusion of that red waistcoat. And again, they've just updated the trousers to look like how they appeared in the TV movie. Moving on to the Daleks now, you guessed it, it's just a simple repaint of the progenitor Dalek, you know, using sort of the dome from the Imperial Guard Dalek, and now having the black hemispheres and a slight sort of weathered wash over it. So there we have it. Those are my thoughts on the B&M sets for 2019. I'd say overall it's a very good batch of figures. Like I say, there is a figure in each set what I would love to get, you know, especially Harry Sullivan and, you know, Stike, and TV movie 7th Doctor I'm really excited about having, and a Dark Eyes sort of Ravenous Doom Coalition. 8th Doctor would be lovely, but there are a few things I would have hoped for a classic Dalek in there. I would have loved to have another classic Dalek instead of another bronze Dalek, because the 7th Doctor set does kind of feel a bit strange having a Gallifrey Dalek within it. So yeah, overall I would say it's a very good selection. I'm definitely going to be buying them all because, you know, support the line of figures, and obviously the more you buy, the more figures we can get, the more sort of new sculpts we can have, and hopefully we will start to see, you know, some more exciting things to happen. You know, who would have expected us to have Harry Sullivan? So the more we buy, the more surprises we will have along the way. So I think that this is a great way to support the line, and it's great that B&M are, you know, are fully supporting the Doctor Who figure line, because without them we probably wouldn't have, you know, a retailer to, you know, stock figures. So it's great that we're still getting new figures, and I think overall it's a lovely bunch of figures. And is it the best wave of B&M figures? I would probably say yes, even though last year I really loved it because we had a Red Velvet 12th Doctor, you know, Third Doctor and TARDIS, you know, a Brigadier from, you know, season 7 and the Invasion. You know, we had so many good figures, and like the 4th Doctor from Talons of Weng Chiang, I never expected to have that figure, but there he is on the shelf. It's amazing. So like I said, the more you buy, the more exciting things character options will be able to do in the future. So yeah, I'm very excited. I cannot wait to track them down, and as soon as I buy the set, you can definitely expect reviews of them. So without further ado, that's me done. So thank you very much, and goodbye.